Right, so I'm back. I've had a couple of days of a bit of a regain, have a bit of a chat to myself, and I've got some tools. I've got some new head bolts. I've got some new bits and bobs and extraction wabs and fancy dooblies, and I've come back. So where I left it was, yeah, the bolt broke, and then I just went home, and I'll show you now. That's what come off. Now, I'm going to tell you now, before you tell me in the comments, this was my fault. There isn't any rust on that. And even though they looked quite rusty in there, once I'm cleaning back, they're not that rusty. This was me. I wasn't torquing them down. I was just tightening them up, and then I was going to torque them all. So I was tightening it down. And this one had reached the end of its thread, and I just kept going and it broke off. But there wasn't any warning, there wasn't any, it didn't feel weird, it didn't go strange, it just fucking come off. So long story short, it's my bad, all right? It's my bad. So I'm back now. It's 5:30 at night. It's below freezing already. So I'm just gonna get stuck straight into it and whip the head back off. And then, yeah, I'll show you the bits I've got. Hang on, I'll get it in a presentable format and I'll show you. So what I've got is the correct torque wrench, because it tells you in the manual to use one of these and not a specific, not the modern clicky-clacky type. I've got some fancy new one of these bad boys, mole grips or vice grips. Yeah, I thought I'd get a new pair for this specifically. New bits, new gaskets, new rings. And then I have the correct gunk to put on it rather than that magic cheapo red stuff I've got. A full set of head bolts, which they cost monies. They're all different sizes and I didn't know which one I needed, so in a panic I just thought I'd buy them, and then I've got them. So that's what I've done. And of course, some extraction kits. So I found this on an auto jumble. It's cheap and it's crap, but it might not work, it might work, I don't know, but we'll see. And then as a backup, I've got this thing. Probably more substantial. Whether or not it's too big to get round the shank, I don't know. We'll see how we get on with it. I've got a pair of vice grips there anyway, and there's a plumber's wrench somewhere, so with anything. And of course, Lucozade for sustenance, and another emergency headlock. So that's what I've got, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna whip the head off now, and then get back to square one. Okay, heads off. There's the Badger. So I've got loads of room there, which I'm pretty pleased with. My only drama is if it breaks off further down. Because if I'm going to take these bores out, unfortunately, that means the engine has to come out. Because if you take the bores out, the piston rings around the pistons will then extract. You'll never get the bore back on without taking the engine out and taking it apart. We don't want to go there, so we're ignoring all that right now. So we're just going to have a look at this bad boy. Now, of course, the problem I've got is the most ideal solution would be to have a look at heating the bottom end of it. I need to get some heat down the bottom end of that. But of course, I'm not going to be able to do that. So all this needs to clean out. I used way too much gunk as well, and it was the wrong stuff. So really, it's a good job I'm back in here. So there we go. Okay, so the first one I'm going to try, because this is too big and doesn't grip. Where's the other one? That charity shop find, obviously, well, I didn't expect much from it, but yeah, that doesn't grip either. So, Old Faithful, we're going for it, right? So I have had a look on the new ones, so it's not a left-handed thread, it's a right-handed thread. So I'm going to put one on and just test it. You can see where I've been trying with the others. None of them seem to grip it. I just hope it doesn't, I hope it's not in there like... Oh. Okay. Please. What? Is that slipping? Oh my God. Oh. Thank God for that. Right now the question remains, do I swap that one out or change them all? I'll clean them up and I should change them all. Come on, Frank. Right, slight tip. because this is going well, going well, and then it gets tight. Right, and it's similar if you're tapping a new bolt or what have you. You don't just go, oh, keep going. You go until it gets tight, and then you go back and forward, and eke it and ease it round, right? Don't go full whack, because you'll end up breaking it off. I'm very surprised this has come out so easy. Right, I am going to get on with it now, rather than chatting shit. So, I haven't got my stand, so you just have to believe me, all right? I'll show you when I'm done. So, although this started quite easy, it's getting quite difficult now. And I'm having to be really careful to appease the machine spirit, the gods of the engine block. I might just swap this one out and see how I get on. Yeah, it is putting up a little bit of a fight now, and I haven't got it out that much, to be honest. Oh well, we'll see, eh? Alright, after a couple of hours. Very good. Right, let's have a look and see what size this is. Right, so I've got the 3 different sizes down here, and it's looking like... Is it one of those? It's looking like it, innit? It's definitely not one of those. It's definitely not one of those. Right, cool. Right, I know I said it, I was going to change them all, but after that, it started fine enough, but rather than easy peasy lemon squeezy, it was difficult, lemon difficult. And after cleaning it, you can see that there isn't really that much, it's just surface rust. And if you look at the actual brake, that's just me being a knobhead. That's not rusted, that's not failed, that's me over tightening just the one like a moron. That's me, that's user error, that. So I'm just going to swap this one out. So what had happened was that rubber ring had popped out of its hole, and as I was trying to put in the new stud, it was pulling the O-ring into that hole with the stud, and I wasn't able to tighten it all the way in. So I can't remove this sleeve, because if the piston rings release off the piston, I have to take the engine out of the car and take the engine to pieces to put it all back together again. So what I'm going to do now is put the new head bolt in, and then I'm going to walk the new O-ring over this sleeve down into that recess that you can see there, and then I'll be back to square one. It just took me about bloody, I don't even want to tell you how long it's took me to fish all that bloody knackered O-ring out. It was all buggered anyway. It's 8 o'clock now. I don't really want to be here much longer, so I'm going to put the new head bolt in, that stud, sorry. I just need to make sure that the aperture's clear of everything before I start putting it in, and nice and clean. And then when that's in, I'm going to walk the O-ring over that sleeve, and then I'm probably going to go home, because I have work tomorrow and I don't want to be fucking around here, to be honest. So that's the new stud in and the new bottom ring in. That was a bloody pig of a job. This cylinder was loose, obviously you can see it coming out. That came all the way out, and I rotated the engine over until this piston pushed it all the way out, so it was like as far out as it would go, and it brought the liner with it, right? So then that way I could walk the rubber O-ring over that and sit it down, and then all it does is sit in that bottom lip. So once it's in there, it seals then, so I just push it all back down, it's in there. That took significant effort, but now it's done. I can make a start on getting all the gunk off. Well, there isn't any gunk on it actually. I've got a new gasket for it, so I'm I'm not going to use that red stuff again. That was the wrong stuff to use, but it's all I had at the time and I was in a rush and I just wanted it to be done. So forgive me, guys, forgive me. I have the correct stuff in, I think here. Is this the stuff? Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Roger, this is the stuff I'm after. So, yes. I'm not going to do any more now. I'm going to leave it on a high. This is a small victory. And I'm going to come back to this tomorrow night. So I'll catch you then. And then I haven't even done the other side yet. That is $40. No, it looks a bit off there, but there, boom, 40. So, oh, excuse the light. So they've all been torqued. I only changed that one. I didn't change any of the others. I was a little bit apprehensive because it seemed shorter and fatter than the others. So like 1/8 of an inch, almost, a bit over. But I thought, the amount of hoo-ha I had taking it out, I thought, whatevs. So, new rings on top of the pistons as well. Head on. Right, what I'm going to do now... Oh, you know what I've forgotten. You know what I've forgotten, don't you? What are they still doing there? Oh, right, I've got to take it off. Hang on. Right, I've put the push rod tubes in now. Arsehole. And I've re-gummed up the nuts. I'm torquing them all back up now. I've gone to 20 and now I've got them all to 30. Well, I'm getting them all to 30 now. This is the last one. And then I'll let them sit for a bit and I'll go up to 40 then. Right, that's a bit over. I understand now why they said to use one of these, the old-fashioned one, rather than the modern one I didn't nick from the army, before anyone asks. All right, that's I purchased that. That's mine. So yeah, I understand now why they say in the book to do it using one of these, because you need to feel it. Right, back up to 30 because they're all slackened off again now. And then once they're all genuinely at 30, we'll go to 40. But yeah, you have to do this. Oh, that's too far. Too far. But yeah, you've got to feel it by hand. You can't do this with a bloody... And these, if they're not calibrated, you have no bloody idea. Whereas with the old one, you just bend the needle to 0 and wherever it is, it tells you exactly what it is. They had things, you know what I mean? How did they survive back in the day? Very, very well. All this technology for technology's sake. Anyway, I'm getting distracted now. Come on, guys. This has been bloody long enough. Oh. My back. I feel like Mike Tyson. My back is broken. Oh. Okay. Right. We'll chill out 5 minutes and then we'll go to 40 again. All the way up to 40. And when they're all at 40, leave it for a bit and then come back. I mean, it's not a physical head gasket. Well, it is a physical head gasket, but the one I'm most concerned about is the water jacket. That's water valley gasket. That's why we're doing this whole charade. Not even done the other side yet. Although I've said it already, but I'm hoping that's not going to take too long. Right. And you'll be pleased to know I've used a lot less of the Eterno gum this time. That red stuff was everywhere. And it was like chalk. It was all gone hard inside, so I've cleaned all that out. Crap idea, but it was the only one I had, so... Right. Now that's there or thereabouts, the tubes are in. Rocker assembly next. So what I'm going to do whilst I've got them out is have a look at them. Because I need to check them for wear, and I need to check them for cracks or anything like that, and I need to give them a good clean. There you go. And give them a paint. Just get any old crap. I'm quite, yeah, I'm a little bit on the back foot here because I've got paint on them when I was painting the back lip of the engine bay there. So really I need to do this to get the bloody paint off them. Sorry guys. So you want to give them a nice clean, get all that paint off that shouldn't bloody be there. And then once they're clean, you want to inspect them for any cracks in the casting, that the oil passageways are clear, and that there's nothing, it's doing what it's supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so pleased, I'm so pleased that head's on now. Good Lord, what turned into, it's the classic, what was supposed to be a 20-minute job turned into, well, how long has it been now? Nearly a week. Although I am limited in time, how long I can work here, and of course I've got my day job. So, and that's like 8 o'clock till, I have to be on site from 8 till 4, 8 till 5 usually. So I'm up from 7, 6, 7 o'clock, usually on the road by 7. And then as soon as I finish work, I change my top, get my work top off, jumper, get my own stuff on, and then I get my sorry ass straight in my Jensen Healy from the 70s and drive in -2 Celsius with no bloody heater in it to come here to play with these bloody things. It's a weird thing. It's like a hobby that's completely taken over my life, but at the same time, I bloody love it, as I wouldn't bloody change it for the world. At some point, I need to stop bloody keeping them. That's the big problem. I buy them because I'm going to do them up and sell them, and then I like them so much I want to bloody keep them. But I suppose it's an upside because, you know, whenever I want to keep them, I want them to be nice. You know, eventually I'll probably get bored of it and I will sell it on. So it's a good thing in the end, really. Right, cool. Right, let's oil it up, get it on the engine. Hopefully I shouldn't have to fuck around with these tappets too much because I haven't changed the push rod, so should be sound. Although I will confess that I've mixed the push rods up. I know. Look, I've been through it with myself already lots. For those of you that don't know, the internal workings of an engine are metal counterparts that wear in concert with each other, right? So that they work most efficiently, they wear together so that it's a perfect fit. So that means if you're taking it apart and you're putting things back together, everything has to go back in exactly the same place. Not everything, but most things. Anything where there's wear or contact. And that includes the push rods, although it's probably the least, the least important one. It's still not good, still not a good thing. Anyway, so I've guesstimated, and that's the way it's going to have to be, all right? I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. Anyway, right, I'm getting distracted now, I ain't got long. Right, I'm going to get this oiled, get it back on the engine, tighten them down. I've forgotten what the torque ratio is for them. I did know about 3 days ago before all this started. And then, I've got to get the other side off, yeah. It's Thursday, it's 7 o'clock at night, and this is the only night I've got to do this. As Christmas approaches, I'm working overtime on the weekends, I'm working through the week. I've got a lot planned this weekend. Anyway, sorry. Sit back down in the back. I'm doing it. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, okay. All right. Shut up, Frank. Let's go. Right, come on. Which way does it go? There, be right. Right, other side. Right. You're blind. It's bloody freezing. Hey, it's going to be good when it's finished though, isn't it? Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, when you're working underneath something, just keep your eyes wide open, as wide as you could possibly keep them. And your mouth. You want to get all that in your mouth and your eyes. I'll bring you in so you can see this. See this. Big old spider nest. And then look at that gasket. It's just given up, man. It's all water just coming through. That's where I was losing all my coolant. Now, VW specified that, and they stipulated that you had to use a specific coolant, right? I know, boring fucking dad chat right now. I know, I'm sorry. But that coolant was specific because it prevented the corrosion of the head studs inside, and it prevented this furring up stuff. Now, a nice other little bit of information for you guys, classic car owners and normal car owners galore, is that if you're using coolant, as in antifreeze for the British viewers, you mustn't mix it with normal water. If you mix it with normal tap water over the period of a few years, that will happen. It will all turn to a big chalky mess inside, and it will clog all your water pump up, and it'll clog all your water passageways up in the engine. Just don't do it, okay? Just don't, not a chance. Don't do it, okay? Now, to avoid this, use your normal antifreeze, your normal coolant, but use deionized water instead of normal tap water. It's not expensive, it's cheap, and it stops that, all right? So do that. Please. She's off. Inside an hour, all right? Just for the record. E.T. phone a mechanic. Right, good. Needs a good old clean up. Again, look at all this crap. It's needed to be done, this. That's all rust and muck. Yeah, cool. Cool beans. Right, let's have a look at you. Okay. Yum, yum, yum. What do you reckon, knackered head? Yeah. What the hell? See, there's big bloody chunks out of it, look, again, on this side. No wonder this engine needed a rebuild. Something went terribly wrong. Head gaskets look fine. Yeah, they look okay. I'll change them anyway. But yeah, so the guy that I bought this van off said that it had a rebuild, what, 2012 or something like that? And he showed me the receipts for it as well, which is... Yeah, I've got the receipts for it, which is mental. You don't usually get that. But looking by the state of the heads, I'm not surprised. Something's failed pretty significantly there. The other side was even worse. You've seen. What is that in there? It's like carbon buildup as well. So he did say as well that this was running very rich up until he took it to somebody to get it properly tuned. It is not running rich now. It's running, I mean, lean, if anything, but I'd rather it run lean than rich, because if it runs rich, what that means is there's too much fuel getting into the combustion chamber, right? And if that happens, it's not able to burn all of that fuel in the right time, okay? And as a consequence of that, excess fuel that isn't burnt will run onto the piston down the bore of the walls of the bore and will knacker the pistons out, and it will strip all the oil off the cylinder bore, which, if you remember, it's a moving part, metal on metal, so it has to have oil for it to work properly. Loads of muck and crap in the exhaust ports, but yeah, it's got to have oil against it, and if excess fuel gets onto it from running rich, then it will wash away that oil, and well, guess what, it'll ruin your piston rings which run against your cylinder wall, and it will ruin your cylinder walls, which means, you guessed it, a new engine. Hello. So everything's buttoned up. I don't know where we are right now, but I've finished work on the engine. The seals have been changed, the heads are back on. I swapped out that broken head bolt. Yeah, nice. The last thing I'm doing now is just smashing some coolant and some oil in, just waiting for it to settle, and then I'm going to try and fire it up and see if it doesn't explode. Oh, God, I've fucked him, haven't I? Bollocks! Oh, classic. Right, there's the hammer. Fuck, absolute, what the fuck? Soft. Flat tyre. You'd never know. You're gonna know. Why wouldn't it go on? Right, let's try and do this a bit more diplomatically. They do not want to go on there without bulging themselves. In there. Bloody hell. Let me get a piece of wood. Right, we're on. Hello? Nice. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm pretty sure that's everything. I've plugged everything back up. All the pipes are done. Yeah, right, let's give it a go. See if it'll fire. I genuinely haven't tried this at all yet. Oh, I hope it works. Oh. Right, where are we? Come on. It might take some... Yeah. Okay, it'll burn off all the excess coolant and oil that's dripped off on it. I'm expecting that. Right, well. I never doubted me for a second. Oh, right. I'll let that burn off what it needs to burn off. And then once it's got to temperature, the next task will be bleeding it. Because, yeah, there's a bleed nipple in the engine bay and there's a bleed nipple here. I'll have to take the grill back out again. What is that? That doesn't sound good. So the engine note changed. I mean, it was quite clicky-clacky, because usually it takes a while for the tappets to build pressure. It's the same as in my V8. They're hydraulic tappets. It doesn't sound like it's not firing on anything. It sounds like it's firing on all four. I'll keep going with it. Let's have a look at the temperature. No, it's not risen anywhere yet. I'll keep it going. And this is it, right? This is why I like making these videos for you guys. I don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm making it up. And the reason I'm doing stuff like this is because I have to. I don't have the money to pay people to do this stuff for me. So I have to learn and I have to do it myself. I have never been inside one of those engines ever before. And I've never worked on one of these vans before. VWs at all, actually. And it's just to show you that as long as you're careful and as long as you're patient and as long as you do your research, you can do anything on these things. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a painter. I'm just a guy who likes the old cars, right? There's a lot less on them to go wrong. Modern cars are great until they're not. And then they're money pits to repair. These, as long as you know what you're doing, you can fix anything on this. And you can buy the parts pretty cheap. And once they reach a certain age, they're tax exempt. And once they reach another certain age, they're MOT exempt, you know, as long as you're careful with them. I like the old cars, but the only way I'm going to own them is if I buy one that's bad enough and do it up. This wasn't that bad, to be honest, but if I can do it, you can do it. It's not that. It turns from a necessity to a hobby to an obsession very quickly. So, I'm going home now because it's freezing, and I'll catch you later on. See you in a bit.